Alright, well, this is a bit different from my usual discussion dynamic, but I really just wanted to talk about why Steven Universe's characters resonate so well with me. In specific, I want to talk about my 3 favorite characters as of late: Garnet, Peridot, and Lapis Lazuli. Let's talk about Garnet first. Visually, Garnet evokes power. She's tall, strong, stern, and incredibly angular and yet curvaceous. Her silhouette is the image of power. Personality-wise, she comes off as incredibly antisocial and cold. She seems not to care much about anything, but this isn't really the case. Garnet may seem cold, but she's actually very passionate and energetic, but only around her closest friends. Around strangers, she's likely to be very standoffish, but around Steven and the gyms, she dances, sings, and even geeks out from time to time. Garnet is a strong introvert. She hates small talk and doesn't care for strangers. You'd have to earn her affection, but once you've earned it, you've made a friend that will love you, fight for you, and even die for you. Garnet's a strong leader who knows who she is and what she wants. And if what she wants isn't you, then you'll never see a hint of her true nature. And due to her sometimes lacking a filter, her bluntness can hurt. In a way, she's everything that I wish I was more of. I'm introverted and passionate in private, but I lack the confidence and leadership and strength that she has. It's no surprise then that these are qualities that I tend to like in people. Next, let's talk about Peridot. Well, Peridot, she's my spirit animal. No, seriously, my birthstone is a Peridot. Though, to be honest, I actually don't believe in birthstone/star sign personality magic. Anyway, Peridot is small, noisy, cocky, prone to fits of rage, and yet adorable. Now, in most cases, someone like Peridot would come off as annoying. She's egotistical, has an inferiority complex, and is quick to insult, and too easily offended. And her naivete tends to get her in a lot of trouble. By all accounts, I really shouldn't like her, and yet I do. And the reason being is simple. If Garnet is what I am on the outside and wish I was more of, Peridot is what I tend to be just under the surface. Despite my typically calm exterior that most people see, I'm actually kind of fragile when it comes right down to it. At any given time, I'm always judging everyone and everything that I see, usually poorly, and usually judging myself above all of them. I tend to have a negative opinion of myself quite a bit, so I compensate by telling myself that the rest of the world isn't much better. I tell myself that, regardless, I'm above it all and smarter than everyone. Occasionally, this part of me surfaces when I appear to be extremely upset over something trivial, like losing my phone or sitting down before grabbing the TV remote. Much like Peridot, I tend not to have a filter for the things that I say, and I will easily offend somebody with my raw logic and thoughts. My logic is so superior that it doesn't matter if it hurts your feelings. Usually, I feel like I'm the only smart person in the room and will refuse to admit it until I hit rock bottom. And hitting rock bottom is where Peridot shines, and her character improves. Peridot is reluctant to admit defeat until she's exhausted all other options, but when that moment comes, she's more than willing to learn and grow. Peridot tries. She's constantly being shown that she's not as great as she sees herself and is frequently humbled, but she always puts in the effort in improving and changing as a person. She doesn't want to be alone in the end. Feeling small really sucks, and nothing makes you feel smaller than being left out of a crowd because you couldn't open your mind. Plus, her ignorance to Earth and its customs just comes across as incredibly adorable in a quirky foreigner kind of way, and she is my favorite character as of late. Now, I want to talk about Lapis. Oh, Lapis. A common theme with these characters is that they tend to lack a filter when talking to people. Lapis Lazuli is no exception, as she's quick to lash out a sharp response to gestures, requests, and questions without any remorse or intent to hurt feelings. However, if Garnet is everything that I wish I was more of, and Peridot is everything I tend to be just under the surface, then Lapis is everything I am on a very, very deep level, and everything I wish I was much less of. Let me explain why with a small synopsis of her character. Okay, mild spoilers here, but Lapis's introduction was depicted as being very distrusting and with a somewhat defeatist attitude. She started out trapped in a mirror only to be freed and stuck on a world that she hated. Then she returned to Homeworld only to become a prisoner. In an attempt to protect Steven, her only friend, she chained down Jasper, the one attacking Steven, and returned herself to imprisonment, this time of her own volition. At this point, being trapped is just what felt natural to her. In her prison with Jasper, she took out her frustration. However, this frustration wasn't caused by Jasper. It was caused by her own weakness and negative opinion of herself. She'd been nothing but a victim up until that point. So she wanted to take all that pain out on someone, and Jasper was her prisoner. So, Lapis made her a punching bag. When Steven visited her in his dreams, she told him that she wanted this. She willingly put herself in hell for him. Partly because she truly cares for Steven, and also because deep down she felt she deserved it. Later, when Steven freed her from her prison, she asked him why he tries so hard for her. She told him that she's not worth it. Once free, Lapis wasn't happy. She didn't know what to do with herself. She came off as cynical and incredibly short with pretty much everyone except Steven. She secluded herself and, in a twist of fate, created a social prison to replace the physical one she had just escaped. Self-loathing is a horrible problem that I've plagued myself with for most of my life. Growing up as a chubby kid that was into video games and comics, it's no surprise that I was teased and picked on. As a kid, this hit me deeply for reasons that I didn't understand. As I got older, lost some weight, got better at art and socializing, I found myself being surrounded by people that were genuinely interested in me. But it was somewhat late. I'd already been in the mindset that I wasn't worth anyone's time for years. I would sit quietly and keep to myself, often spurning the advances of potential friends. I created my own prison, and I hated it, and yet I accepted it as just how life is. I became cold, sarcastic, and insensitive to even my closest friends and family. Though now I've cleaned most of these issues up with myself, the self-loathing has never completely vanished. I often decline invitations to parties or social events. Silence and solitude were once my prison, but now they are simply an aspect of my life. And honestly, I tend to enjoy my silence from time to time. Silence and seclusion are now things that I enjoy. They are a part of me. Silence and water were once Lapis's prison, but water is inherently a part of who she is. Now she actually sits and enjoys her silence in the DeMayo barn next to her pond. Lapis may still not know entirely what she wants out of life, but she's content just living each day and enjoying herself as she figures it all out. That's kind of where I am too, just trying to keep it together day by day as my future gets less dim with each sunrise. I can go on and on about this, but I guess that's a good summary of why I resonate with these characters and this show in general. Steven Universe does something special that I don't really see many cartoons do. They create characters that come off as more human than some actual people I encounter in real life. It gives us a cast of characters where there are no good guys and no bad guys. They are all just people trying to make it. Are we not the same way? So guys, that's why these three characters resonate with me so well. I know I probably sound like some kind of pleb, looking at these cartoon characters as if they are actual people, but I can't help but just gravitate to how good the writing is in this show. And I felt the need to share it, and yeah, I know this is kind of off, I guess, rhythm for the usual content we put on here, but yeah, I really wanted to share my thoughts. So let me know what you think down in the comment sections. I'll be there chatting it up with you guys, answering any questions if you got any. If not, I'll just go binge more Steven Universe. Let's be real here, that show is fucking amazing. Alright, later.